So today I will not have a narrative video. I have a lot of things going on. Those narrative videos take a long time and I just wasn't able to get to it this weekend. Lord willing, next weekend I'll get back to it. But I did want to discuss something, well, a few things. One, something that has been going on with Eric July and the Rippaverse, which kind of points something out and gives me further justification and proof for why I really don't want to take this route with my channel. There is, look, the internet, we all know what the internet is about, how things can go on the internet. You can have hatred in one direction or another, and there's a lot of rage bait, and I get it. These things get clicks and views. This is not the approach that I take. I would like to say that even people I disagree with, if we disagree, I don't hate you, and I will do my best not to enter into some of these discussions of, oh, I hate this person or hate that person. You can dislike something and disagree. There can be a creator who has something you don't like, you disagree, and you move on. There's a YouTube channel. I will not mention them because I don't want this to be, I don't mention them out of fear. I don't mention them because I don't want this to be an attack video in either direction. Now, obviously, I'm talking about Eric July and the Rippaverse. I would say that most people following and listening to me probably enjoy and like the Rippaverse. So you understand that, of course, obviously, if I mention it, I'm a fan of what Eric July has created. But there are some who are not. Now, in my personal opinion, so there's a lawsuit going on. There was an email sent out to what's called a concerned troll and trolled so there's a Christian ministry out of California. I don't know exactly where. It's the International School of Ministry or something like that. Their logo is ISOM. So this person who, people on the internet are calling a concerned troll. I haven't heard that statement before. I don't know much about this, but they sent this school an email, this ministry an email, and pretty much the gist of it is they said, hey, we appreciate the fact that in your ministry, you have decided to create a comic book, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into the specific details. They linked Eric July. Hey, what funding did you give him? We think it's great that you've allowed him to, use your trademark, whatever. Sparked a whole legal battle. I'm not going to get into all of that. What I am going to get into that I've seen is the podcast that this came off of. I believe, and it is just my humble opinion, and I could be completely wrong. I don't know these gentlemen. I found out as a result of looking into this that some of the people that I follow and listen to are friends with one of the gentlemen on the podcast. And I think this has gone beyond criticism and moved into just outright hatred. Look, there are comic books I don't like. Nobody's going to like every comic book. I don't, and this is just my humble opinion, I do not feel the necessity to continuously attack the merits of a creator because I don't enjoy what they do. If I don't enjoy what they do, I'll offer my criticism. I don't like this. Here's the reasons why I don't like this, and I will move on. But this, like I said, in my humble opinion, has gone beyond dislike and moved well north into the hatred category. I think these, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe Eric July has said something to them that they don't like. And the only reason I'm covering this and mentioning this is for this reason. And I'm going to move on to something else that I'm actually excited about that I just ordered. So my channel, I want to be different from what I see. I really do. And I don't know if I'll be successful in doing this. I don't know if people will follow, if people will listen. I have no problem with you knowing where I align ideologically. I have no problem with that. But what I will tell you is I can disagree with you and still enjoy your company. I can disagree with you and still enjoy your conversation. I can disagree with you and still enter into discourse and be around you. We can be friends and we can chill. You don't have to think like me, and I don't have to think like you. And I think this is part of what makes comic books great. I had a conversation with my cousin who I haven't seen in many years. And we talked about comic books. There's things we agree on. There's things we disagree on. I mentioned Eric July's Ripperverse to him, and he was like, I looked into it, just not my thing. But we still had a great conversation about comic books for like, how long did we talk? I want to say it was a good hour and a half, 2 hours. We haven't seen each other in years. And so I think what people are missing is it's okay to dislike something. And I think even Eric July in some of his posts has mentioned this. He's like, look, if you dislike what I do, I don't have a problem with that. And I believe him when he says that. I really do. There's people who have criticized his comics and vehemently, and I don't really see him going at these people. Some of these people have offered honest criticism, things that they honestly believe need to be improved or things they don't like or reasons they won't come back. But man, these other two guys, it just seems like an outright hate campaign. And so I went to these guys' podcasts. Like I said, I'm not going to mention them, not because how can I put it? I'm trying to figure out how to word this so you understand where I'm coming from. I don't want to add fuel to the back and forth drama in any way. Not that I think my channel's big enough to do that. I'm a small, channel. What do I know? But I want to be somewhat of a neutral party. The criticism that these gentlemen offered is honest criticism and critique. But there is a point where they went beyond that criticism, like I said, and moved well into hatred. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. There's people in this space. And again, I am trying my best to make sure that my content is not rage content. There are people within the independent space that just completely trash Marvel and DC. And I understand Marvel and DC have not done themselves any favors. I don't particularly enjoy doing that, nor do I want to enter that, because I actually still read both Marvel and DC books. Some books are good, some books are not so good. And I can not be a fan of some of their books and say, hey, here's the reasons why I don't like this, and here's this other book that I enjoy. Both of those things can be true at the same time. And I think on the internet, there is so much trolling that it's hard to parse that out. People have a hard time coming to any kind of conclusion or honest resolution because the hatred is drummed up by people on the internet. This is what I realize, and I think some on the internet don't realize. And maybe they do, Just because I get a bunch of views doesn't mean my opinion is worth anything. If I got tens of thousands of views on my YouTube videos, that doesn't mean my opinion is worth anything. I am just a normal person on the internet that has created a YouTube channel, a podcast, a vlog, whatever you want to call it, about comic books. It started out as something else, but eventually just transitioned into comic books. One, because it's my interest, and two, because this is something that I see that my audience enjoys. So I'm like, yo, let's go with it. The comic books is something I love. But my opinion is just that. It's just an opinion. There are going to be people who disagree. There have been people in my comments who disagree with what I say. And I would like to believe I've been very cordial in saying, okay, yeah, fair point. Here's why I disagree, and move on past that. Because, like I said, the rage bait and going back and forth and arguing, I don't have the energy for that. But anyway, with that being said, I want to go to this tweet from or what do you call it now? Post from Eric July on X. It's no longer Twitter. He says, again, let this play out. Our legal team is working. I'll update you when appropriate. The ops attempt is a much bigger deal than the current stage of the actual lawsuit. This is why I've been chill about it. We've yet to be sued. Nobody has been served. Parties involved want resolution. We're in communication. Confusion and misunderstandings should be cleared up, and we anticipate this being resolved amicably. This is more procedural. Yo, this is the information he has gave. This is his company. Until otherwise proven, it seems as though he has this thing under control. But what I'm excited to talk about today, so I was watching a podcast, it was Ethan Van Sciver, and he was talking to, I believe he had one of the creators of this comic book, Battle Brick Road, which actually knows the guys. It's funny how all of these people are connected. And I think Ethan Van Sciver knows the guys as well that have issue with Eric July. And I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, the dude who created this is the letterer for ISOM. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure some of you know a lot more about this than I do. But this is his creation. It's called Battle Brick Road. Now, I knew nothing about this beforehand. Absolutely nothing at all. I saw this podcast from Ethan Van Sciver, and immediately I was interested looking at the cover. Now, from what I gather, this is I guess you would say, a modern take in comic book form on The Wizard of Oz, which is why it's called Battle Brick Road. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to play out. Now, I guess he's Battle Brick Road 2 has come out. I ordered this, the dynamic duo bundle you'll see right here with Battle Brick Road 1 and 2, which 2 is just being released. And I'm like, yo, this is interesting. I'm going to buy this and pick this up and see how good this is. Now, when I was looking at some of the interior panels, I don't know if they have any of them on this. I'll try to go through the website and see if any of the interior panels are on here. But when I looked at some of the interior panels, I was like, yo, I think this art is decent. It's really decent. And I don't know what the story is going to be like. But Ethan Van Sciver had some good things to say about Battle Brick Road, and I trust his opinion. For those who aren't familiar with Ethan Van Sciver, I believe, if I am not mistaken, he did a lot of work on Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. I believe a lot of the Green Lantern Corps stuff was actually a creation of Ethan Van Sciver. But again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He also created a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, my local comic shop, I believe, has some Cyberfrog issues, which I plan on maybe, Lord willing, picking up today. I didn't initially think about picking up Cyberfrog, but I saw some interior panels just because it seemed so awkward. It seemed like something I wouldn't read. But as I saw, I began to see different channels talk about the storyline, and I saw some of the art. I was like, oh, I might actually be interested in this. And also, Ethan Van Sciver drew, I believe, cover B of ISOM number 2. I think so. I'm pretty sure it was cover B, which I actually have sitting over here in my comic stash somewhere. I have to pull it out. But I'm excited to receive this Battle Brick Road book. I want to see what this is about. And here's the thing. Even though initially, like when I saw this, I was like, this is different than, or it looks different than the kind of book I would typically read. But I said, you know what? Let me try this out. Because what I found is independent comic books really are offering me something that I didn't get from the big content houses. And what it's offering me is it's showing me what I really enjoy about comic books. And I think many of us who are, let's say, slightly older, us 80s babies who started collecting comic books many years ago, there are things about comic books we enjoy that almost have been lost and forgotten, those intangible things. And I think independent creators are offering some of those intangible things. And this is one of them that I am very, very excited about. I didn't realize just how much is in the independent comic space that's actually dope. And I'm actually learning a lot more about the independent comic space as I've been exploring and looking for other things to buy outside of the big two. So this is one I wanted to bring some attention to. I think this might actually be a big deal. When I get this book in, I cannot wait to review it. I think I might enjoy it. Now, it's a possibility. Maybe I don't enjoy it. But just from what I've seen so far, I think it's a possibility I will enjoy it. So here is some of the interior panels. I think the art is very good. Let's see what it says. On a mission to find her missing father, Thay Gale never imagined that the search would lead her into a fractured, fallen utopia of Oz. Join Thay and her trusty sidekick Toto as they battled their way through a beautiful and hostile land populated with mind-controlled munchkins, monstrous genetic hybrids, and psychotic AI overlords known as the Watchers. You never know what allies and adversaries await down the many twists and turns of the Battle Brick Road. Interesting. And I guess the gentleman who created this, what is his name? Let me see if his name, it's got to be on this website somewhere, I'm sure. I'll try to find it. But again, wanted to show you some of the panels so you could see the art. It is very good art. I think this is the kind of art I enjoy in a comic book. Is it the most groundbreaking art I've ever seen in my life? Nah, but it is good art. And I think too many times now in comic books, you really get subpar art. Maybe good story, but subpar art. And for me, that's just hard to get behind. I really have a hard time with a lot of the art that I've seen. Here's some more art from Battle Brick Road. I guess this is supposed to be the Scarecrow. So like I said, it's a modern take and a more comic book and sci-fi take on Oz. So I'm like, yo, I like this. So let's see. I was trying to see if it had the gentleman, and I wish I could have remembered his name. Actually, I think his name happens to be Eric, but I can't remember his last name. I'll post it in the description of the video. But this is something that I'm looking forward to. Battle Brick Road. I will have my review when I get the books in. I'll read them, let it soak in a little bit, and then let you know what I think. There's good things in the comic space. There's things to be excited about. I believe, as I said before, there is a resurgence of actual good content in comic books coming from some of these independent creators. And I think this is cause for rejoicing.